Who wants to talk about some trades? I know you do. Welcome back, friends. It's Chris Welsh right here on FantasyPros MLB YouTube channel, and today that's exactly what we're going to be doing. I've got the big six: 3 to trade for, 3 to trade away, and hopefully you, the big winner at the end of all of it. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure that you drop a sub right below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, put notifications on as well so you can get notified anytime we're doing anything here, because we have got some awesome and fun stuff. Are you guys ready to talk about some trades? I know you are, so let's go do it. Number 1 on the trade for Tampa Bay Rays starting pitcher Taj Bradley. Bradley was really solid in his pro debut. Though he did give up 3 earned runs, he struck out 8 batters and walked only 1. His curveball was on point, and that's going to be the big setup pitch for strikeout numbers, whether that curveball is setting up the fastball or that curveball is just inducing the strikeouts. Now, he was optioned after the start, but we all know what happened to Jeffrey Springs, unfortunately. Tear. He got hurt that same day, actually, that he was optioned. We haven't got an official announcement, but I'm going to imagine that with both Eflin and Springs on an extended IL, you are going to have an opportunity for Bradley to get a shot, if not on the next start, very, very soon. The Rays, they do everything they can to put their pitchers in the right situations to succeed, whether it's openers or having someone follow an opener, and that could be a likely situation that we'll see with him. And the great thing about Bradley and all of this, you might actually not even have to trade for him. He might just be sitting out on the wire for you. So if so, go get him. If not, maybe you can send a nice lowball offer to get a guy that someone might not be sold on, because he's got the stuff to go 5 or 6 nightly and strike out 6+, even if they put him on a pitch count. And for the opportunity for him to stick around a little bit longer, this is why we want to go acquire ourselves some Taj Bradley. Number 2 on the trade for Milwaukee Brewers first baseman Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy was one of my favorite preseason bats. He struggled on the early parts of the year. He only had 5 hits in his first 10 games. This past Thursday through Saturday, though, Tellez put up 3 straight multi-hit games, and he's raised his batting average up to .234. Now, I know that's not sexy, but he's sporting a 188 BABIP, which is tied for 9th worst in baseball. Through all of these struggles as well, the guy's put up 5 homers and has an over 300 ISO, which have really created kind of a floor during and for these type of Rowdy Tellez struggles. There's quite a few actually solid buy low first basemen out there, but Tellez isn't just buying expected stats. As he's starting to heat up in Milwaukee, Rowdy Tellez a good first or corner infield buy that should be pretty cheap in the market. My last buy here, we're going to Minnesota Twins starting pitcher Tyler Mahle. Now, Mahle so far this year has all but scrapped his cutter, which he threw a lot last year, and focused more on a slider, which I will tell you, sliders, cutters, obviously kind of the same thing, but it is being defined way more as a slider. He also obviously is focusing slider, pitcher, fastball. 3 pitches instead of 4, which were double-digit usage. His ERA isn't great right now. It's 4.11, but he has an expected ERA of 2.24. Mahle also has over a 10 K per 9 and the second lowest walk per 9 of his career. All the attention in Minnesota has been on Pablo Lopez and Joe Ryan, which we can understand, and rightfully so, but Mahle has been a higher strikeout pitcher in the past that just needs to be inconsistent. The pitch changes in Minnesota, they're contagious. And I know you're all out there trying to get sneaky with pitchers that you can buy left and right, but the great thing with Tyler Mahle is the cost is going to be so much different from all of the other up and coming rising starting pitchers out there on the market. 10 K per 9 in Minnesota plus. He's a buy. Go get yourself some Tyler Mahle and shore up the back end of your rotation. Now, let's talk about some players that we're trading away. Doesn't mean that we hate them, doesn't mean they'll be garbage, but this is the type of year where we can kind of start to hone in and focus on how things are going to come down to earth. And the number 1 player of got to come down to earth, or at least maybe prioritizing getting your value now, is Seattle Mariners outfielder Jarred Kelnick. Everything about Jarred Kelnick's season has been fun. It's been tough to see the top prospects struggle though, but so far this year he's hitting over 300 with 4 homers, 2 stolen bases going into Sunday. He's on a career-high hard hit percentage, which is in the top 4 percentile of the league, including a career-high barrel percentage over 20 and an average EV that's sitting around 94 miles per hour. It's crazy. So Why are we selling him, you ask? His over 450 BABIP is going to come down. When it does, it actually might come down kind of hard. Even in the minors, he never had higher than a 368 BABIP. He's also striking out, this one I really don't like, still over 30% of the time, even though he's making, strong barreled contact. So does this mean that Jared Kelnick is going to go back to being worthless? No. In fact, he might be locked in as a 12-team starting outfielder. Why we want to sell is the potential of a sell high before things stabilize. You can go and get a better floor. We really don't know how this is going to go. What we know is his track record, which worries us all, but we don't know what we're in for the rest of the season on Jared Kelnick. So if you want to play the high as you can, or you can potentially sell out now as people are looking to get invested. This is your opportunity to cash out on Jared Kelnick if you're worried about the struggles and, that 450 BABIP coming down to earth, which it will, just to what degree. Number 2 on the sells overall, Toronto Blue Jays third baseman Matt Chapman. After rattling off a 10-game hit streak with a 4 straight multi-hit streak inside of that, Chapman has started the cool-off period. From Friday to Sunday, he went 1 for 9 with a pair of strikeouts. Chapman went into Sunday with the second highest BABIP, we're looking at that again in baseball though, at well over 500. Chapman, by the way, a career 296 BABIP player. So what we know is this is going to level out like many other things we've talked about. Over the last 3 seasons, Chapman hasn't had a batting average over 230. So when his over 450 batting average comes down, it might crash again really hard, like the Kelnick one we talked about. Am I saying he's going to be awful? No. It's just the fantasy player Chapman is today is probably not the same player that he's going to be in the middle of May. Third base, though, a little bit wonky. So trading from any depth at that position is tough, but that is also why he could be potentially traded still for a king's ransom. People love that Toronto Blue Jays lineup. Why wouldn't you? Huge hard hit numbers. He's still putting up top 2 in barrels per plate appearance and overall hard hit balls, but we know the average will come down, and what will that look like on the counting stats? Sell out now while you can, or you just hold tight and just get ready for the fall. The last one on the list is St. Louis Cardinals starting pitcher Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty has a 1.76 ERA. That's fun and really good, especially when you consider some of the offensive struggles that this Cardinal team has had overall. It's nice for them to have some good pitching numbers. Except Flaherty has a 5.97 xFIP, a 5.97 xFIP, and an expected ERA that is 2 full runs higher than what he currently has. Of all the starting pitchers as well that qualify, Flaherty has the 18th highest left on base percentage. You'd see his batting average against, which is like 222, and you'd be like, wow, that's actually not too bad, considering a guy like Julio Urias going into Sunday was pitching to batters about a 286 batting average. But this is my favorite stat, why it's going to speak to the batting average against, and just overall why he's a sell. Flaherty has a higher walk per 9 than K per 9 so far this season. That'll level out, but that's absurd. He has a 7.63 K per 9 compared to his 8.22 walk per 9. Some elements of his game have been positive, but I'm going to cash out and get out of the Jack Flaherty business altogether as soon as I can. And friends, those are my trade fours and trade aways for this week. The sample sizes are starting to get bigger, so the more information, the better decisions we're going to be able to make. But go get your guys now. What big trade have you pulled off recently? Drop it in the chat below. We love to see them, love to look over them, and we love to be envious of you. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel here at FantasyPros MLB so you're notified whenever we drop a new video, like this trade one, or how about Joey P's waiver wire ads that's going to come up here soon. I also want you here so you can join us on Monday through Friday on Leading Off, where Joe and I are talking about the latest in fantasy baseball, prize picks, betting, and more. Find me on Twitter at IsItTheWelsh, and I will talk to you again next time, my friends. Good luck in all your trading.